Hello.
Hello.
We're back.
How are you doing today, most beautifulest?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, I'm not.
Or I
doing
should say
bad.
I'm doing well.
You're
For all
doing
those
well?
people who are ridiculous about grammar
The
out
grammar
there.
police.
Yes, the grammar police, as
Like
we
that
like to call them.
soap you got me.
Yes. That is a different story for a different
A
time.
different story. Do you want? That's a fun story. It
Um,
was so much fun.
Is it?
So this story ends with me being factually wrong, like most
Yes.
stories.
Well, it also, at the time, I was very butthurt, and I don't want to talk about the story because it's still like, it gets my goat.
It gets your goat to this day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're just so like self-righteous sometimes.
I swear, I tried to be as nice and sweet as possible with my rebuke of your assaults on the English language.
Anyways, welcome back. As you may know, we have a different name now. We're no longer That One Couple podcast. We are now All That Work for Nothing.
All that work for nothing.
Yeah.
I do like that our podcast starts with all that because that was one of my favorite shows growing up.
Yeah.
That was a great show. That's how Kenan Thompson got his start. Well, maybe not his start, but that's how I think he became like pretty popular.
Yeah.
And then now he's basically on All That for Adults.
Pretty much. Yeah. He's a improv and sketch guy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, welcome back to All That Work for Nothing. Do you want to talk about like what we've been up to in our hiatus and like why we changed the podcast name and like what people can expect going forward from us?
Well, I think your initial podcast, your very first podcast, that one podcast was such a good name and so funny
Yeah.
and so creative. I think we tried to make it like our own, and
Yeah.
it just kind of had a square peg, round hole
It
kind of
did,
feel.
yeah. It just felt like we were taking what I had done by myself and then just crushing someone else in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like shoving you in there like a sausage.
Like I'm sure how all the friend group feels when you try to shove me in there.
Oh, come on. No. Baby, like
ugh.
no, it's not even like that because like you
eighth
were
wheel
already
over
pretty much
here.
a part of the friend group
Yeah, it was my
before I was like, we're dating.
Well, it was my grand strategy just to infiltrate that friend group
I know.
by any means possible.
Yeah. So was that the only reason you married me? Was to officially get into our friend group? Can you imagine if that's like the only reason you married me?
You can't get me out now.
It's too late now.
I'm going to be a part of it for the rest of our lives.
Okay. Well, I guess that's fine. You know, I would do the same thing for my friend group too.
I do think you having such a great friend group was a big reason why I wanted to marry you. Because if you had a bunch of problematic friends and it was really difficult hanging out with everyone, that would have
Yeah.
made our relationship a lot more strenuous.
Yeah. Also, if I was surrounding myself with those kinds of people, what does that say about me?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
the fact that you had such a great friend group and that amazing people love you because you're so amazing,
Oh,
I think was a huge sign that I should marry this person.
well, thanks.
Mhm.
Anyways, I thought we would talk about why we decided to change the name of the podcast, what people can expect going forward. We can talk about what we've been up to, and then also, it's my 30th birthday
Whoop, whoop.
this month, January 12th, 2024. I will be turning 30.
Mhm.
So you do the math of when I was born. I wanted to kind of talk about like where I thought I would be, like where we are now, and gonna do like compare and contrast kind of thing.
Mhm.
I think that sounds like fun. And then we can talk about whatever. Last year, doing the podcast was so much fun for us. It was a really great way for us to kind of cope with all the shit going on in our lives in the background.
All the changes.
All the changes. This was like the most depressed I've ever been. Shane and I both went through some traumatic things the past few years, not including COVID. So it's just been the last 3 years, I'd say, have been hard. They've been really hard, but they've been great. You know, a lot of growth. With hard times comes a lot of growth. So that's how I'm trying to look at it. You know, instead of being like, why me? Why do I keep getting all this shit put on me and done to me? I'm trying to be like, okay, what lessons have I learned and how have I grown as a person and how can I go forward and move forward with my life now.
It was the most depressing year of your life was followed by the most depressing year of my life.
Yeah. And I think it's because I watched a video the other day that was talking about when you go through a traumatic event, your nervous system basically kicks into overdrive. So basically what it does is it puts you into survival mode. And so what happened, like the traumatic event that happened with you, my nervous system kicked into gear and it was like, okay, every moment I was awake, I was surviving. I was like, what can I do to make things better for you and for me and for our family? Your nervous system kicking into high gear, it doesn't know, like you have to train your nervous system to have a medium. So right now, like this year, my nervous system, because of all of the traumatic events and the other shit that happened to me, it didn't know what medium or what like mid was anymore. It literally went all the way to the bottom. So I had no motivation. I was so depressed. And apparently it's not depression. What you feel like is depression is actually just your nervous system trying to find a new normal. And it's literally just like, it could be like, because I have clinical depression, but like it was coupled with my nervous system getting kicked into high gear, and it's trying to learn. Like it's basically like, wait. Why aren't we surviving anymore? Why aren't we just going anymore? What are you doing? Why are you sitting down? Why are you like, so basically it's like one extreme and then the other extreme. So this year was the other extreme for me where I was like the lowest low. And so now what the work that I'm doing, like the yoga and the scripting and the meditation, and all of the like the moon work and, you know, spiritual stuff that I do, that is teaching my nervous system to be like, oh, hey, so it's okay to be a little bit low key. It's okay to be in the middle.
Yeah.
I don't have to always be surviving, and I don't always have to be laying on the couch like a potato.
Well, it's funny because like that surviving feeling was great when we were, you know, cave people.
Yeah.
Like on the plains trying to fight a saber-toothed cat.
Yeah.
Because then your nervous system being that way is fantastic.
Right.
But, you know, being a person in the 21st century, that kind of, you know, does a lot more damage because we're not running away from saber-toothed cats. Now we're running away from our emotions.
Exactly.
Which can feel like saber-toothed cats.
I guess, like, yeah, you know, when we were hunters and gatherers, we didn't really have time to just, like, that's another revelation I had about being a human. We are not meant to be happy. Our brain is survive. Our literal species is just here to survive. So happiness is something you have to learn. And I honestly was like, I didn't realize that until just recently. And so now I'm trying to teach my brain, like, it's okay to be happy. We don't have to survive all the time. We're not hunting and gathering all the time now. You know what I mean? Like, we have a cushy house. We have our animals. We drive in a car. We don't have to walk everywhere. Like, we're very privileged with where we are. And I need to make sure that I understand where I'm at in my life and make sure I appreciate it and teach my brain, hey, we're not, like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, just calm the fuck down. You know? So I'm trying to learn a lot about my brain and about how it works and all that stuff.
Well, it's funny that you say, like, you know, we're not meant to be happy, because I feel like growing up as kids, you are praised so much for being a happy kid.
Yeah.
That's what parents always go, like, oh, they're such a happy kid.
That's true.
And, like, maybe we should switch more to, like, praising our kids for being upset and angry. Because, hey, those are emotions you're going to need too.
Nowadays, we're teaching kids that emotions aren't negative.
Yeah.
So you can be more than just a people pleaser and be happy for your parents. Like, we're teaching emotional regulation now.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, like, when you're a little kid, like toddler age on up, until you're 25, your brain doesn't have a frontal lobe, which is what tells you how to feel and kind of tells you, like, when to feel it and how much to feel it. And society kind of teaches you, like, oh, all these other emotions are negative.
Yeah.
So if you cry, you're weak. If you're angry, you're crazy. Like, if you're happy, you should be happier, you know? So what parents nowadays, like with gentle parenting, if you read the book about gentle parenting, it's literally telling you how to raise your kids to be emotionally well and emotionally mature.
Yeah.
Because you're teaching your kids, like, hey, it's okay to cry. We're human beings. We have emotions. We have so many emotions. I don't know why I'm on like gentle parenting TikTok. Because I don't have kids, but
I'm on Parent Talk too.
Well,
They send me stuff all the time, and I'm like, I don't have kids, but you can't help but like a cute kid.
Well,
so you must have one. It's like, no, I don't.
To me, honestly, it's not even the kids; it's the parents. I keep getting the parents that are like talking about gentle parenting,
Really?
and the book that they read. And I am so interested in the human brain and how it works and why it's wired the way it is, and like evolution and how we are so close to, like, we're animals. At the end of the day, when you look at it, we are animals. And all we did was we flopped onto the earth one day from the ocean, and then we were like, hey, I'm gonna chill here for a couple thousand years. And then, evolved.
And then the next one did, and the next one did. It's funny, when I worked at the Natural History Museum over in San Diego, they had different brains from like Homo sapien relatives.
Yeah.
And then they had, like, your basic chimp brain, skull, I should say. They had skulls from Homo sapien relatives. So, you had your Neanderthal brain, you had your Homo sapien brain, you had your Homo erectus brain. And kind of something that you see is that we went from having our skulls being more in the back, which I'm pretty sure is kind of more of that survival kind of parts of your brain, to kind of going more towards the front. And this was actually a mutation, since you like evolution so much. There's an ape that had a smaller jaw, which created a different sized brain, a different sized skull.
Now we have more of a bulbous kind of brain than before, where it was more elongated.
Yeah, elongated in the back.
Yes. I took several anthropology classes.
Did they say that?
I was obsessed with I'm surprised I didn't become an anthropologist.
You would have been an amazing anthropologist.
I would have loved doing that.
Or primatologist or something like that.
Yeah, I was. Oh, yeah. There was a time in my collegehood where I was obsessed with primatology, and I don't know why I didn't just change my major to anthropology. I really don't. Because I love history, but like studying evolution and why humans act the way that they do and how we interact with our environment and how the environment interacts with us. Like, I'm so interested in that. But anyways, back to the reason we decided to start the podcast. It was really a coping mechanism and a way of, like, I am trying to work really hard on my self-esteem and not being so scared to put myself out there, because I've talked about this before, where I have wanted to do something like this my whole life. And I'm done making excuses. I'm done allowing myself to feel those negative emotions when they don't have a logical reason behind them. If people don't like me, then that's their loss. Yeah. And if they do, welcome. Like, so I'm just trying to work on that, and relationship building, putting myself out there, going after what it is that I want. I'm at a time in my life where it's make or break at this point. So I cannot go back to a 9-to-5 job. It tears me up. And you can say what you want about that. Like, I'm lazy, I'm this, I'm that. I'm a creative person, and sitting at a desk and wasting my skills and my creativity and working for someone who doesn't give a shit about me doesn't fit in my life anymore. So I am going towards my passion. This is my passion. Like, living a sustainable and creative and passionate life is what I want. And that shouldn't be something that is looked down on. And if it is, oh fucking well, you're obviously not who I'm trying to appeal to. But anyways, we decided to talk about, like, what's working for the podcast and what's not. I think what we're going to do from now on is we're going to try our hardest to post once a week. We're going to do weekly uploads, and we are going to have a YouTube channel so you can watch us if you'd like. Later on down the line, I would like to start a Discord so that we can have people pay for our content so that we can actually start making money.
So we can leak government secrets?
So we can leak government secrets. Actually, I was thinking that like our Discord could be like off the rails, like our off the rails podcasts that we don't normally do. Cause like I kind of noticed like we try to like watch what we say a lot.
Yeah.
And we don't want to offend anybody, and we don't want to be on the wrong side of history, obviously. I actually started this podcast when it was just me back in 2019. I started it because I am obsessed with conspiracy theories. I just love them. As a history-minded person, I just like looking at the two sides of things and wondering how the fuck people get to the conclusions that they get to with these tiny little like mouse droppings. And they're just like, oh yeah, so this like that. And I just love it. So I'm thinking for our Discord, we could do like conspiracy theories and we can talk like deep dive into those and talk about things that we normally wouldn't talk about like on our normal podcast.
Yeah. The
just,
out there stuff. Yeah.
Just like the crazy shit that goes on in mine and your brain. And then like we will have these crazy conversations and we're like, why don't we have this on the podcast? Like we have insane conversations about like what the shit that goes on in our brain. And we're both like, we need to start talking about this shit on the podcast. So I think we will, but it's going to be for the Discord. The Discord is going to come probably 6 months in, but we'll see.
Yeah,
I would like to try to stick to a schedule for now, work on our social media presence, and then we can unroll the Discord and get some members and just fucking be unhinged and just talk about whatever the hell we want. I think that'd be so much fun. And maybe like I'd really like to start having people on our podcast, like even just friends or just through networking, kind of finding people to come on and talk with them about shit. Do you want to tell the story behind the podcast name?
Well, we were like pitching ideas out there for a while, but this one didn't come from us pitching ideas.
No, it didn't.
I think we were just getting ready to go to bed.
Yeah.
And we were in our bathroom, like brushing our teeth and stuff.
Yeah.
And
that's when we have the craziest talks, is like while we're getting ready for bed.
Or while we're just sitting around making food.
That is true. Yeah.
It's the kitchen or the bathroom.
Kitchen or the
Dang it.
That sounds like we're taking a shit together and we're just like, whoa.
I bet if we did, we'd have amazing conversations.
Honestly, like we should get a love seat toilet and try it out.
Oh, I get to hold your hands while I poop?
No, I don't think I could be in the room while you poop because I've actually had to go in afterwards and I'm like, I don't think I could take it.
Yep. It'd be like World War I. And my poops are mustard.
Oh my God,
gas.
mustard. Okay, I was like, what, trench warfare? Yeah, it is like mustard gas. It's like.
Which is so funny because I don't feel the same way about yours.
Okay, we're not talking. We'll talk about that on our Discord, maybe.
I love them.
Stop. I think something's wrong with you.
You can find out if you get those love seed poop toilets.
Oh my God. Okay, keep going with why we named the podcast All That Work for Nothing.
Sorry, I'm just thinking about the introspection I would have if I wasn't like listening to something while pooping, but like talking to you.
No, really though.
It would be incredible. I think we were just saying like all the work we've done over our lives, and it feels like we have not gotten anywhere. You know, all that hard work, all that pushing.
Yeah.
All that
push. Are you trying to bring it back to poop?
That's a well. I wasn't then, but maybe this is not a bad idea.
All that pushing, all that grunting.
Oh man, all that pushing.
All that shit that piled on top and on top and on top.
These are all also great ideas for a name. Dang it, we might have to go back to the drawing board all over again.
No, I love our name now.
No, it really is
All
good.
That Work for Nothing is like, I don't know. it just sounds so perfect for what we've gone through in our lives and where we are now. We've done so much work. We've worked 2-3 jobs at a time. We've gone to college. We've almost gotten our master's degrees and didn't. And
I was just thinking about how I could have made my master's thesis work.
Okay, we're not going to go into that right now.
But I'm saying that's like another thing where like it was a lot of work.
It was a lot of work for nothing. Like, I have my history degree. What the fuck has that gotten me? A job at I'm now working a seasonal retail job because I cannot find any other type of work. So we were complaining about this one night. I was having a cry sesh, and I think we were taking a bath.
Oh, I think we had just gotten out of the bath.
Okay, well, there was a bath involved at some point, and you said, like, all that work for nothing, and I was like, oh my God, that would be the perfect podcast name, because it really does encapsulate our lives. We've done all that work, and what do we have to show for it? And I know that we're not the only ones out there
who feel that way.
Who feel that way. Like, shit sucks right now, especially in America. It really does. I thought that would be perfect. And like, a lot of the podcasts I listen to are like very aptly named, you know, and I like their name. I never really vibed with that one couple podcast. And when I would tell people, oh, I have a podcast with my husband, and they'd ask what the name is, and I'd say it, they'd be like, oh, and I feel like if I say all that work for nothing, people are going to be like, damn, great name.
It catches the vibe. It really does.
It catches the vibe.
Yeah.
One of the things that while doing research is they say, like, you have to have a niche. You have to have something that, like, only one little thing that you focus on, and then those types of people will come and listen. But it's like, I've tried the niche thing. Like I said, when I first started this podcast, I was only going to do conspiracy theories that ended up being true. And I was like, oh man, that's really boxing me in. Because like, there's only so many conspiracy theories that we can actually prove to be real. And I don't know what else I'd do after that. And like, I guess you could expand from there. But I think what we're going to do is we're just doing freeform. We're like, we do want to talk about what's going on in the world. We want to talk about what's going on in our lives and, you know, having a healthy relationship as a married couple. You know, we want to talk about important things, but it's not going to be like a shoot the shit podcast, like those fucking dude bros guys, like that are like, we just need to shoot the shit, you know, like we're in college and we're going to talk about females.
You know, the one sponsored by like Rhino Pills.
Or Manscaped. Those Manscaped fucking commercials are insane.
The guy I listen to who does the YouTube channel for the Raiders, he gets sponsored by Manscaped.
A lot of YouTubers that I know and a lot of podcasts that I know gets sponsored by Manscaped. And I know the guy, like, I know of the guy behind the Manscaped, and he is like, oh man, I hope this doesn't like fuck with like us ever being like, I don't know if I ever want to be sponsored by them, but
does your wife think your coconuts are too hairy?
Well, I was gonna say like, I know of him, and he's very cringe. He's a cringe dude.
I mean, you kind of got to be, right?
I guess so. He's one of those like, oh yeah, you got to wake up at 4 a.m. and write down all of your thoughts, and then you have to take the coldest shower known to man, and then after that, you're gonna go to the gym for 3.5 hours.
What's that? That's hustle.
Hustle culture.
Hustle culture.
Yes, yeah. He is like the epitome of that. One of my favorite YouTubers, Cody Ko, he did a That's Cringe with his counterpart Noel Miller, and they did a video on him, and they made fun of him, and now their podcast is sponsored by that guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's kind of funny. So I'm like, maybe it works, you know?
I mean, like, guys like that aren't going to turn down a good business proposition. So.
Well, Cody's talked about it too, where he's like, yo, we made fun of this guy, and now he's like funding our podcast, and we're like talking about him and stuff, like, but in like not like a cringe way, but like, he's one of those guys that I don't think he even knows who the fuck Cody Ko is. I don't think he knows like that. He made a video about him. He's probably just like, this guy has a lot of followers, let's pedal to that audience.
Well, the thing is, when you wake up at like 4 a.m. and start a 3-hour workout, you're probably a little delirious, and you're probably like looking at a spreadsheet, and you're just like, yeah,
Yep.
sure, whatever,
Yeah.
that works.
You know what? Success looks different for everyone. So this hustle
Yeah.
culture bullshit, like what works for them probably won't work for a normal ass person. And I feel like you have to be a little bit unhinged to have that kind of lifestyle.
Oh yeah,
You really do. Like there
No,
has to
yeah.
be something like off in your brain for you to just be like, I wake up at 4 a.m. and I work out 70 hours and then I read the Bible until 7 a.m. and then I eat one egg and then I crack an egg on my head because if I don't, I have a bad day. Like it just it's very
hair growth.
unhinged. It's very unhinged and it's not really something that's sustainable
no, not
because
at
it's
all.
so extreme. So like success looks different to everyone. So whatever that looks like to you, to us, success is literally getting out of bed in the morning
yeah.
and making our bed.
I mean, like Winston Churchill would wake up late and take naps in the afternoon, and he would drink all
Well-
goddamn day.
Okay, yeah, and look at it. Look at how far he got. You know.
Yeah.
So like success looks different for everyone, and it's all relative. Like to me, success would be, like being surrounded by people I love, being in a job that I'm passionate about, and where I answer to myself and to nobody else. And just being surrounded by a wonderful community and feeling like I belong. That's what success looks like to me. What does it look like to you?
It's like It's a Wonderful Life. No man's a failure as long as he has friends.
Exactly. I love that.
Yeah.
That's so great.
It's so great.
Oh, can we talk about?
It's a Wonderful Life?
Yeah.
Oh, Jimmy Star.
So we watched it for the holidays because it's a Christmas movie, so you have to watch it, and it's black and white, so it's moody.
Oh.
And
Do you want to talk about how I clicked on the colorized version, then instantly clicked off, and
Yeah.
then went to the black and white
we're
version?
like, you cannot watch It's a Wonderful Life in color.
No,
It would not have the
right.
same kind of feel.
Colorizing movies, honestly, that's a stocks. That's to send someone to the stocks.
Well, it depends on the movie because there are certain movies that they've colorized, and I think it looks amazing because you would never know how colorful they are.
Oh, I love colorizing old footage. So that's weird. Like colorizing like private footage
Mm-hmm.
from like the 40s, the 30s, or something like that. I've seen ones colorized from like the 19 teens and like the late 1800s. That's amazing. But like certain movies like are just meant for black and white. And then there's old timey movies that are meant for color too, like Gone with the Wind. Its cinematography is not the problem with that movie.
Oh, nope. I felt like watching that was kind of cathartic for the year that we've had, the past few years that we've had, where it's like I had those moments of I wish I wasn't born.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that my parents had never met and never had me. It was a really great movie to watch and kind of like both of us were like sobbing at the end because he learns like no like me I am very important in this life, and certain things wouldn't have happened and certain people wouldn't have met that are so important to me now, and like I don't know, it was just a really great movie. The only gripe that we have with this movie, and we have a clip, I took a clip of it because it makes me laugh so hard, but I'll let you take it away because you're the one who first introduced me to this thought, and because I'd watched this movie before, and then you're like, isn't it funny? And then I was like, I never fucking thought about that. That's hilarious.
Well, there's a few like things I hadn't watched it in a little bit, so there's like a few other things. Like I always forget how short the actual going back and seeing what life was like without you.
It's only
is.
20 minutes.
It's only like the last 20 minutes of
Yeah.
the movie. The most of the movie is all set up. It's all setting up his life
Yes.
in this, very like difficult life that he has, but that he's successful because the people around him care so much about him because he
Right.
just tries so hard.
Yeah.
Like if you haven't seen the movie, his whole aspirations is to see the world and to be an adventurer. He never leaves the town. The whole movie is set in one town.
Yeah.
It goes through his entire life from the time he's 12 all the way up until he's in his 40s and he's a grown-ass man. He never leaves this town.
And they have a sick child named Zuzu.
And they have... Yeah, he has 4 kids. One of them he decides to name Zuzu for
Whatever reason.
And then I forgot like a few things, like how they try to. It's Jimmy Stewart throughout the entire thing.
Jimmy Stewart.
Jimmy Stewart. Including when he's at the end of the movie when he's like in his 40s and towards the beginning of the movie when he's supposed to be a high schooler.
Yeah.
He is the same person, and they're just
Same person.
They're just like, no, but he's in high school, and you're just like. Okay.
Well, I will say, like, with the 40-year-old, they put a little bit of gray in his hair,
and
they slick it back. So you're like, oh, now he's older.
It's like when they put glasses on someone. It's like, no, see, time
well,
has passed.
That's what they did with Mary.
Oh, yeah,
when he wasn't
true.
born. They just put glasses on her.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, Mary! You're a dweeb, Mary!
Oh, there was one weird scene, too, that I want to talk about, where he's in high school, and what happens is that these kids try to pull a prank because the basketball court and the dance floor is underneath the pool. The basketball court and the dance floor are above a pool.
Yeah.
The pool is... the basketball court and the dance floor are underneath a swimming pool. Mm-hmm. And these kids pull a prank, and the dance floor retracts, and the swimming pool opens up, and him and Mary fall into the pool. So they have to walk back home all wet, and Mary's like towel or dress falls off, and she hides in some bushes, and it's like, oh wow, some very interesting situation fellows in here, and you're just like, oh come on, Jimmy, do the right thing, don't be a creep.
It's very 40s.
It's very 40s, where
like,
it's just
I have the power. I
gotta see some boobies. I gotta take advantage of that. If a grown man can't see some boobies, Hitler wins.
Oh god.
But the scene that always throws me, and I don't remember when I first noticed this. It might have been when I first saw the movie. So he goes through all these things that have happened. Basically, his old boss, when he worked for a pharmacist, when he's just a little kid, almost accidentally poisons children.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But young Jimmy Stewart is able to see him put the poison in the pills, and the pharmacist is all distraught because his son died of influenza, which is Spanish flu, which, kind of sets the time period. And he saves these kids, and he saves this guy's life and career, and the guy still has a pharmacy all the way into his adulthood, and he's a respected member of the community. He builds these houses to get these people out of slums and saves their lives, and they become successful business people. He saves his brother when his brother's just a little kid. His brother grows up to be a great war hero and saves all these people on these transports. Well, when they go back in time, none of that happens.
Or no, not back in time.
Pardon me.
When it basically is that he wasn't born.
When they go back to this alternate universe or whatever you want to call it, where Jimmy Stewart's character George Bailey is never born. The town has been run down and turned to vice. Everyone lives in slums. George Bailey's brother dies and never saves all these people at the transport ship. The pharmacist does kill those little children and becomes the town drunk and spends time in jail.
Yep. And
they're at the grave of his brother, and the angel Clarence is like, yeah, all those people died.
Yeah. So all of this is really fucked up and shitty and bad, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, but what happened to Mar?
So after he sees the grave of his brother, he's still like, well, I know also his house that he basically built is run down, and the whole time he's like, but where's Mary? Clarence, tell me where Mary is. And
he's like, I can't tell you that.
And then basically the climax of the movie, what it's all building up towards, is that, basically everything except for that we lost World War II has gone wrong. And then he's like, Clarence, what happened to Mary? He's grabbing Clarence by the collar and shaking him. He's like, I can't tell you, George. It's the most terrible thing that's ever happened. And then finally Clarence blurts out, she never married. She's an old maid.
She's closing up the library. Yeah.
And
so she's a career woman and she's fiercely independent?
Yeah.
Okay.
And just to put an exclamation point on it, like, yeah, as he's running away to save her from, not being married.
From not being married and having children, which is what married women are supposed to do.
I mean, yeah, she didn't fulfill her, like, prime directive in life.
Yikes.
So, obviously this is the worst of all possible universes. So as he's running away, like you said, Clarence goes, she's just closing up the library, which, is just like this old, she's like an old spinster who loves books and never found a man. So this is clearly the worst thing. Fuck that my brother died as a child. Fuck that other children died. Fuck that an evil miserly man basically runs the town and it's like a den of vice.
Yep.
No, my wife didn't marry and didn't pop out any children.
And she has a career?
And she works?
Oh my God.
It's
abominable.
I love our side thing where we go like and yeah, by the way, the whole time this version of Mary never says one word.
No.
And just all she does is scream, pass out, and faint.
Oh, that's right. Because he's like, we're supposed to have kids, Mary. And she's just like, ah!
So she responds appropriately to a strange man,
a psycho
who she's never met, whose clothes are disheveled and is covered in sweat.
Yeah.
On a snowy day, grabbing her and be like, "I'm actually your husband." We always have that great like sidebar where she's like, "No, actually, my life's great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a great civil servant. Do you know how hard it is to be a librarian in a town like this, where there's just like dancing halls and gambling and liquor stores all over the place? Yeah. I'm the only reason why this town has
a cushy job. She's got good benefits.
Yeah.
She's kind of like away from the riffraff. Like,
and
she's educated.
And the way they make her look to be like all spinstery is they pull her hair all the way back, tight into a bun. She's wearing like more masculine looking clothes. She's not really wearing a dress. She's wearing
because she's not appealing to the male gaze.
Yes, that's actually.
And then they put thick glass, like these cute glasses on her, and
Coke
they're like,
bottle
"See,
glasses.
Ugly." Like that does not live up to today, because you look at her now and you're like, "Oh, she's cute,"
right?
Like I can see maybe chic. Back then they're like, "Oh my God, she's ugly."
I'm just picturing like there has to be some costuming director who like that was like their big contribution to the movie was like, yeah, I made her look as ugly as possible. Oh my God, you're a master at your work.
It's literally like all those movies, like the teen movies where they're like, this girl's ugly because she wears glasses, and then they're like, okay, we're gonna give you an upgrade. They take off the glasses and like, whoa, what? You're pretty?
I always think of that song that whenever I think of a scene like that, I think of that song that goes, "Kiss me, I'm at the
yes.
dun, 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 dun,
yes.
Dun, 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 dun.
Are you gonna keep going?
I mean, that song's like 3 minutes long. So.
I gotcha. Again, you just keep going. Oh my God. Yeah, that we had to watch that scene twice this year because we were bawling, we were fucking yelling, laughing because of the all this really actual horrible shit happens, and then he's like, "Where's Mary?" She's down. She's closing the library. No. I have to save her. And you're just like, fucking what? Like, what? And even like it's not even Jimmy Stewart who thinks it's the worst thing that's ever happened.
Right.
The fucking angel's also like, it's really bad, George. I can't tell you. And he's like, tell me. Your wife never married, George. She never popped out kids. No, Mary.
Yes, George?
Where's Mary?
Oh, well, I can't...
I don't know how you know these things, but tell me, where is she? If you know where she is, tell me where my wife is.
I'm not supposed to tell.
Please, Clarence, tell me where she is.
You're not going to like it, George.
Where is she?
She's an old maid. She never married.
Where's Mary? Where is she? Where is she?
She's just about to close up the library.
I am an angel. I basically spend my life looking down at humanity, and this has got to be one of the worst things I've ever seen.
I've ever seen a woman working, not dressing for the male gaze. Disgusting.
See, it's funny because we'll go on like a little feminist history in film kind of rant. So like Jimmy Stewart was in Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. And in Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, Jean Arthur, who plays the wife in the movie I'm named after, Shane,
Yeah.
she is a pretty strong like political like asset or agent or whatever you want to call it. She knows her stuff. There's a really cool like monologue or speech where she basically explains how a bill really becomes a law.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know, she's framed in sort of a tougher, like no nonsense kind of role. And also if you look at how the woman is framed in Miracle on 34th Street. So like that kind of like more business central. I mean, obviously it ends with them all having a house in the suburbs and everything like that.
Yeah.
But the framing is different as opposed to post-war. Once women have kind of realized their independence and realized their own self-worth and had kind of a moment of self-actualization, suddenly Hollywood has to be like, whoa, 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 whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, 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 whoa. Let's put a brakes on all this. Yeah, it was fun in the 30s and the 40s, but, you know, we got to get you all back to work or back in the kitchen and not actually working in a factory and, you know, making these things that were the arsenal of democracy and having real, like experiences, lived experiences with, like...
and being important in
Right.
the economic society
Yeah.
and in the working world.
Yeah, like...
You know, they're like, go back to your kitchens where you're supposed to be because the men are home.
Exactly. So, yeah, one was filmed during the post-war years, and those other two were filmed in the more pre-war years.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see a contrast.
Yeah. Yeah, you can definitely... It's cool to watch, like, old movies and know, like, what time period we were in just based on the woman's role.
Yeah.
And how independent they make her.
Right.
Because, like, contrasting to that, if you look at Singing in the Rain, the girl is literally there just for Gene Kelly.
Right.
She
yes.
exists because Gene Kelly's in love with her.
And that's a movie from the
And
50s.
yes, and it's a 54. So it's very much in that era of like women need to stay at home and birth 2.5 children and you know, basically be in prison in their homes and only exist so that their men are fed and that their nuts are nice and empty.
Oh, God, that reminds me of that terrible Wedding Vows. Remember that
my
fucking
God.
douchebag? My
Yikes.
belly full, my balls empty.
Fucking ew.
I
And
mean,
the girl like being like, oh, I loved his vows. And I'm like, girl, no.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, so have you ever seen those TikToks where the guy has like, so it'll be like a really fucked up thing that'll happen and it's a man doing it and then it'll pause and then the guy with the giant red flag will be like, ma'am.
Oh, yeah. I love those ones.
Yeah.
I think I sent you one of those.
Yeah.
I think I sent you one of those. That's
Yes.
so
I
funny. Just his little hustle. Man,
yeah, it's so
ma'am.
funny. That's what he should have been at that wedding and just like interrupted with his red fucking
he
flag.
comes right down the aisle.
Yeah.
Ma'am.
So okay, I'm gonna pivot a little bit from what we're talking about
Pivot.
now. And this is going to be our wrap up.
Okay.
We are currently in a new year. It's 2024. So I thought it'd be fun if on our first episode of 2024, we talk about what I want to do is talk about what we want to accomplish and maybe have like a little bit of like a dream sesh where we can like, okay, these are our dreams for 2024. And then on our very last podcast, like in December of 2024, we can look back on this podcast and see if any of those things have happened for us. Like almost like a look, like a year ahead kind of thing, but like goals we want to accomplish or like where we think we'll be in a year from now.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, I'm 30, turning 30. I'm turning 30. Turning 30.
First
First of all, the fact that I'm turning 30 is like blowing my mind. Like, I don't know why it's hitting me really hard. I think I do know why. When I was a kid, like thinking about me because as a kid, a 30-year-old is like a full grown adult.
Right? Yeah.
Actually, I remember as a kid being like 25 was old.
Yeah.
I was just like, you're old.
I always thought 25 was like the, get a house, get married, have kids.
Well,
kind
I
of
mean, that's
time.
what society tells you.
Yeah.
You know? I'm so fucking glad that I didn't get married at 25. Let's just put that right out there. Because if I did get married at 25, I'd be divorced by now.
Yeah.
It would have been with the wrong person. I had no idea who the fuck I was. I didn't like myself. I didn't stand up for myself. And I was in a horrible, horrible situation job-wise. The things that I'm happy about turning 30. I've heard your 30s are like the best years of your life.
30 is so much better than 20.
20s are tumultuous. So I'm excited to kind of feel more at ease with who I am and where I am in life. So I'm happy that I'm going into my 30s with my best friend and being married to the best person ever for me. I am excited to like take control of my health and really do a deep dive on what I need and like physical and mental health, and kind of just figure out what I need. And then I'm also really excited that I'm starting this new business endeavor, basically marketing myself and you and this podcast and other adventures that we go on. So I'm really excited for that. What I'm not excited for, I've already started feeling the effects of my age. Like I get up I used to be so limber, and now I get up in the morning and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like stiff. Everything cracks now. I have random pains. Just like when I first started dating you, I thought it was so weird that you'd get these random pains for like days at a time from literally nothing. And now I have those and I'm like, fuck. Like, God damn it.
Oh, I remember the first time you bent down to get something from the cabinet and it was hard getting up and you're like, is this forever? I'm like, yeah, kind of.
I actually started crying, remember? I was
did.
like, oh my God. Because I remember bending down was so easy. And then just this last year, I was like, why am I breathing so heavy? It's like an endeavor to bend down and get something. And like, it's so uncomfortable. Like when I have to physically bend down to get something, I'm like, fuck. I have to like gear myself up for it. But back in the day, I would just be like, whoop, get it done. And now I'm like, fuck, this is a whole adventure now. And I don't know if I'm going to make it out alive. I don't know. Because like I can't breathe when I'm down there. And I can't. I have to get into this like squat, like kneel stance, and my body just doesn't bend the way it used to anymore. So that's what I'm not looking forward to. But I'm really looking forward to like my life now. It feels good. It feels good to be like, ooh, like what adventures am I going to go on and where am I going to be a year from now? So let's manifest. We're going to do a manifest session for our 2024, for this podcast, for our family, for our lives. And then we're going to look back on it and we're going to see like what it looks like a year from now.
Should I announce that I'm running for president now?
No.
2024?
Honey,
Oh, dang it.
I wish. Honestly, I would vote for you 1,000 times.
Aw, thank you, honey.
You would be an amazing president.
I'm actually still not old enough to be president. I'm 1 year
Oh,
away.
you're 1 year away.
Yeah, 1 year away.
Yeah, he's the same age as Taylor Swift, everyone.
Mm-hmm. So
Hot topic.
when she made that 1989 album, I was like, hey, that's for me.
Sure. Yeah, she had you in mind, not herself. She's like, fuck me. Remember this guy Shane Bailey? This is for him.
And then she betrayed me by dating a Kansas City Chief.
Honestly, they're a cute couple.
They really are.
Yeah.
And
I think people need to leave them alone. That's all I'm going to say.
leave them alone. Leave Trevor alone.
Leave Travis alone.
Ugh, what a terrible name.
Travis. It is a terrible name. I'm
Well-
sorry to Travises out there, but I'm also not sorry. Like, get a better name.
Well, when my sister moved to Texas like a few years ago, and one of the guys who founded Texas, one of the slavers, was named Travis. And so there is a Travis everywhere. You can't throw a rock in Texas
I
without
was
hitting
gonna
a
say
Travis.
it's a very southern name and very white southern name. You know, you never meet like a person of color with Travis. Like what?
No.
Ugh. Anyways, we're gonna move on from that. So, okay, what is the biggest goal that you want for this podcast for us to hit by the end of 2024?
Honestly, baby, I just wanted to feel fun.
Okay.
I just want every episode to feel fun. And I
Okay.
think if we do that, that's all I really need.
I love that. For me, it's we have at least 2 sponsorships.
You have real goals.
Well, no, baby, that's a great goal. Honestly,
Aw.
like if you lose sight of the reason we started this podcast, there's no point in doing it anymore. So I love that goal.
Oh, thank
so
you.
I love that you have that goal for us because that's also a goal for me. I want to have fun with this, and I want our relationship to be number one always. And if it ever gets in the way of our relationship, we will, rediscover what that means. We'll sit down and talk about that. But yes, I love that goal. That's an amazing goal.
Thank you, baby. So you want two sponsorships?
I want at least 2 sponsorships.
One of them to be Manscaped.
Okay, no. Actually, you know what? If you want to sponsor us, man, we're pretty hairy. He's got some hairy coconuts.
I will use your product on YouTube.
That would be fucking hilarious. Okay, no, that'd have to be on our Discord. Hey, come to our Discord. You can watch him use Manscaped. Anyways, okay, so at least 2 sponsorships. And for the podcast, I would like to have a very, I really want to have, I don't want it to be all numbers. I think it's going to be, a really great community surrounding our podcast. That's what I want. I want to cultivate an awesome listenership community that we feel close with and that we feel welcomed in, and that we have, a really great relationship with. I think that would be super awesome.
Oh, that's a great goal, baby. Yeah, I think that'll help us find the feeling that we're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to that. So what is one goal that you want to accomplish by the end of 2024 for yourself?
I have no idea. Maybe this is why it's been all that work for nothing.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't know. It's just...
Well, it can be little. It doesn't have to be giant. It doesn't have to be, earth-shattering, changing yourself in any way. It can be anything you want it to be.
I think that's
What is something you didn't like this year that you want completely absolved from your life by the end of 2024?
I don't know. I guess if we're being real personal, just a consistent therapy.
No, that's perfect. That's a
session,
wonderful
yeah.
goal.
I mean, it's just
Going to therapy consistently?
it's just so hard because it's just fucking insurance.
Yeah. Okay, well, that could be a goal. We have consistent insurance and we are going to therapy regularly. I think that's a great goal. A big goal for me by the end of this year. Oh, yes. I want to be on a pump, an insulin pump and a CGM. And I want my numbers to be not perfect, but more in range than they've ever been. So I want to be healthier than I've ever been.
Yeah, we're both prioritizing our health, which is great.
Yeah, and I think honestly, your physical health goes hand in hand with your mental health. So I have a feeling that just taking that burden of the constant stress of being my own pancreas and having something to help me with that 24/7, I think will really help me in my mental health as well. So that's where I'd like to be by the end of 2024.
I think there's so many people out there who can't understand the difficulty of having to be one of your own organs.
And then, so what is a goal for us, you and me, that you would like to reach by the end of 2024?
Oh, there's another one I was thinking. I'm not sure this is like us. This is just a small one.
Oh,
You get a good pop?
yeah.
Nah,
Sorry, go ahead.
No worries. I understand a good
I'm,
pop.
I'm popping now, guys. Like, that's just what I do. my body just pops.
I mean, yeah, I never knew I could pop just by turning. But there'll be a different part of my body than the one I'm turning that pops
Yeah.
when I turn.
Yeah.
The fuck is
That
that?
happened to me yesterday where I was like turning something and then all of a sudden my arm popped and I was like, I'm not even using my arm right now. Like, what's going on?
Those gases just got to escape.
You know what? Sure.
And as you get older, you get filled with more gases that got to escape.
I'm okay with that. Whatever. Do what you got to do, body. Who am I to stop you? Okay, can you get back to your goal?
Oh, right,
okay, it has
yes.
to be for both of us, though. It has to be like a goal for us as a couple.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure. It's really just like I want the house to be all finished. So
That is a goal for us.
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. I like once all the stuff hung up in the guest room and all the stuff in the loft
Mm-hmm.
and this room to kind of be like all put up and organized. And like I wanted to be able to walk into our house and it like all fits and flows and we can start having like people over.
I love that. Yeah.
I mean, like, which we already do and we already have, but like, you know, on a regular
No, I get that.
basis.
Yeah. I agree. There's a lot of stuff that we have that we want to do that it's just money. It's just a matter of money. Excuse me, and time. So that's a great goal. I love that. That's a great idea because making yourself feel welcome in your own home and where you feel like you put so much work and effort into it, it really does help you feel more at ease. And like it makes you feel more at home, and that's something that I have been working on for my whole life, is feeling at home in my own environment. So I love that goal. For me, my goal for us is that we're financially stable, like completely financially stable to the point where we can travel, we can make investments, and we can go to the grocery store without freaking the fuck out, which is sad that we have to right now. It's really sad that we're in a state like that.
We're freaking out. We freaked out less, but I get what you mean. Like in a month-to-month basis.
I just hate that whenever we do go to the grocery store, like, can we afford this? That should never be an issue. So anyways, more financially stable in all aspects. That's my goal for us.
It's a great one, honey.
I think we have some great goals, and I'm really excited to look back on this in December 2024 and see like how far we've gotten for the podcast and our listenership and community. Sorry, I'm getting over a cold, so my throat is just doing its own thing, just like my body likes to do. Now that I'm 30. I'm not even 30 yet, y'all. I still have, 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Okay, I have 3 weeks left of my 20s. I gotta take it in strides.
Your 30s are great. You can still do all the stuff that you did in your 20s.
Oh, I know.
But you are not like a walking man or adult baby.
You know what I need? What I need to do is, because 30 in societal standards is old. It's like, oh, you're in your 30s now. You're old. You can't have fun. You can't go out with your friends. You can't, like, you got to settle down. And it's like, no. Your 30s is when you should be having fun and you should be going out and starting businesses and cultivating new friends and rediscovering yourself, because your brain has literally only been solidified for 5 years.
I think we talked about this where, like, if you looked at your life like a job and like the experience you have in a job, like obviously school and college is your training, right? That's like your first day, your training, your, getting all your paperwork done and all that stuff. And then your 20s would be like your first actual day of work.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone treats it like this is supposed to be the time I know everything, which would be insane. If you knew everything on your first day of work, then you are an insane person, or you've done the job before.
I was gonna say, like, if you know everything on your first day of work, there's no point.
You're overqualified.
You're overqualified, and there's no growth. Why would you want to be in a place that you have no growth?
Yeah, exactly. So if you think of your 20s as that, then I think it's a lot easier to forgive yourself.
Exactly.
And then your 30s is probably maybe the end of your first month, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, you're still not going to be that great at your job.
Honey, I want you to remember what you're saying to me.
No.
No. I'm going to forget it as soon as we're done with this podcast.
I will instantly reject that concept as soon as it becomes inconvenient for the growth of my mental health.
Next time you're having a moment of self-doubt and you're like, I should be different, I should be at a different place in my life at this age, I'm going to remind you of what you just told me. And it's on here forever, so I can even bring it up and be like, listen.
You're gonna
shut your lips and learn.
You're gonna save the recording on your phone?
No, I can look it up on Spotify.
On this podcast, we never let a moment of mental instability or self-doubt go unpromoted.
That's right. Anyways, it's been a wonderful year. It hasn't. But other than us, starting this podcast was really a highlight, and getting to know myself better and learn about my brain and how it works and all that kind of stuff. I feel like this podcast has really helped with that. It's brought me closer to you. It's brought me so much joy. And us getting married was like the cherry on top of this year. Mm-hmm. Okay, other than that, 2023 sucked a-hole. And I'm going to fart in the mouth of 2023 and give it pink eye. I'm going to fart on 2023's pillow.
We need to write.
Then when it wakes up in the morning, I'm going to be like, you have pink eye, you little bitch. And that's what 2023 meant to me.
Can we write out 2023 in letters and then make the eyes pink?
Sure. You know when you're a kid and you go to the water fountain, you say 1, 2, 3, that's enough for me. Oh, and you have to be done.
We did it different. We would literally maybe this was kids born as men and kids born as women kind of thing. But what we would do as young boys,
young lads,
just we young lads, we would take our hand and smack it on your back and go 1, 2, 3, water hog.
Wow. Okay. Well,
I would pat. So I didn't want to hurt anybody.
Yeah. You were a very sweet kid. I just know from how you are now. But no. Okay. Just listen. So you say 1, 2, 3. That's enough for me, right? Mm-hmm. 2023. That's enough for me.
That's enough.
That is the theme of this year. Besides us getting married and starting this podcast.
Do you think I could go up to Bezos and smack him on the back and be 1, 2, 3, money hog?
Honestly, yeah.
He'd have to give me his money.
I would love that.
I mean, if he grew up on Playground Rules.
We could also do that to Elon Musk and
I don't think I would stop hitting. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Just
honestly. Anyways, on that note, thanks for listening. We're so excited for this year. We're so excited for the growth of this podcast. To look back in a year from now and see how far we've grown and what other things we've implemented and how much better it looks and sounds and all the things we've learned. So anyways, I don't think we have a saying yet. But yeah, well, stay tuned. We'll keep you informed, but
work hard and get nowhere.
A lot of work for nothing.
Yeah, a lot of work for nothing. So we're going to tell everybody out there to work hard and go nowhere.
Work hard and stay where you are.
Spin-
Work hard and stay in your fucking lane, bitch.
Spin those wheels, folks. Spin those wheels.
Yes, I like that. Keep spinning those wheels. Oh my God, that's great.
I think that might work.
A lot of work. Oh, wait. All that work for nothing. Keep spinning those wheels, folks.
Perfect.
Anyways, we will see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, testing, 1, 2.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2.
Testing, testing, 1, 2.